This time, we are staying right here in Nigeria, in Lagos, the beating heart of African business. A city of 20 million dreamers, hustlers, traders, and builders. A city where money moves fast, but for the longest time, it could barely move at all. Picture this. It is the early 2000s. A young boy is growing up in Lagos with one obsession: computers. While other kids are outside, he is glued to a screen, teaching himself to write code line by line. This is a time when the internet in Nigeria is slow, unreliable, and expensive, but his ambition does not care about any of that. His name is Shola Akinlade. Around 2002, he starts writing software, and at a school called Babcock University, he meets another computer science student, a brilliant, quirky coder named Ezra Olubi. The two of them click instantly. They are not just classmates, they become brothers in code. Little do they know, they will one day build something that changes an entire continent. After university, Shola does the normal thing. He gets a job, he works as a trainee at Heineken, he works as a software engineer at banks, he builds software products for company after company. A safe path, a respectable path. But Shola keeps noticing the same painful thing over and over again. Every Nigerian business he works with has the same nightmare. They cannot take payments easily. If you wanted to buy something online in Nigeria, it was slow, broken, and full of paperwork. Cards got declined for no reason. Businesses lost customers every single day. Then one day in 2015, sitting at his computer, Shola realizes something simple. He figures out he can charge a card straight from his own laptop. He thought it was just cool. He had no idea he was holding the key to a $200 million company. Shola Akinlade had 86,400 seconds every single day, and he was about to use them to fix the money problem of an entire continent. This is 86,400 stories. Episode 30, Stripe for Africa. Shola knew the problem. Now he needed to build the answer. And he knew exactly who to call. His old university brother, Ezra Olubi. In 2015, the two friends sat down in a small Lagos apartment and started writing the first lines of code for a company they called Paystack. The idea was beautifully simple. Make it so easy for any African business to accept payments online that it would take just 30 minutes to set up. Not 30 days, 30 minutes. In a country where everything to do with money was slow, painful, and full of paperwork, that was nothing short of revolutionary. A shopkeeper in Lagos could suddenly accept a card payment from a customer in London as easily as taking cash across a counter. But here is the thing. Two Nigerian guys building a payments company in a Lagos apartment? The global tech world was not exactly lining up to help them. There was no big investor knocking on the door, no famous mentor, no safety net. Just two friends, two laptops, and one giant belief. Now here is where the trap kicks in. Shola decided to aim for the top. He applied to Y Combinator, the most famous startup school in the world, based in Silicon Valley. This is the place that helped launch Airbnb, Dropbox, and Stripe itself. Getting in is harder than getting into Harvard, and no African startup had ever been accepted. Not one. Imagine the doubt swirling around them. Everyone telling them it is impossible. Africa is simply not on the map for these Silicon Valley people. Why on earth would the most exclusive startup school in the world pick two completely unknown guys from Lagos when they turn away thousands of polished applicants from America every year? That doubt, that pressure, that feeling of being overlooked by the whole world, that was his silent grind. But Shola had one belief that could not be shaken. He was not building for Silicon Valley. He was building for the millions of African businesses who needed him. And then, in 2016, it happened. Paystack got the email. They were accepted into Y Combinator. Shola and Ezra had just become the founders of the first Nigerian startup, one of the very first African-founded companies ever, to get into Y Combinator. Suddenly, the whole world was watching Lagos. Investors who had never even thought about Africa started paying attention. It was a moment that cracked open a door that had been sealed shut for decades. A door that every single African tech founder who came after them would walk through. That was the ultimate vision. Shola was not just building a company, he was showing the entire world that world-class technology could be built in Africa, by Africans, for Africans. And Paystack absolutely exploded. Businesses could not sign up fast enough. Word of mouth did all the work. It was so simple, so fast, and so reliable that shop owners were telling other shop owners, developers were telling other developers, and the whole thing spread like wildfire across Nigeria and then across Africa. Soon, the biggest names in the country were running their money through Paystack. MTN, FedEx, UPS, Domino's Pizza, Bolt, over 60,000 businesses. At one point, Paystack was processing more than half of all online payments in the entire country of Nigeria. Think about that for a second. Half of an entire nation's online money. One of the biggest countries in the world with over 200 million people. All flowing through a company built by two friends who first met in a university computer class. That is not a small business. That is the plumbing of a whole economy. Shola once said something beautiful about it. He said, "Paystack wasn't built by me, it was built by the economy." He understood he was not just making money. He was building the road that thousands of other businesses would drive their dreams down. Now the whole world really started paying attention. And nobody was watching more closely than a company in America called Stripe. Stripe is one of the most valuable payment companies on the entire planet, worth tens of billions of dollars, used by millions of businesses across the West. They are basically the Paystack of the Western world. Or really, Paystack was the Stripe of Africa. And Stripe realized something powerful that most companies missed. Africa was not a charity case. Africa was the future, and Paystack was already the undisputed king of African payments. So in October 2020, Stripe did something historic. They bought Paystack for over $200 million. That is the ultimate boss move. It became the single biggest startup exit in the entire history of Nigeria. It was the largest check Stripe had ever written for any company anywhere in the world. Two friends who had started with 2 laptops in a small Lagos apartment had just sold their company for an amount of money most people cannot even wrap their heads around. It sent shockwaves through the whole of Africa. But here is what truly makes Shola different from so many others. He did not take the money and disappear to a beach somewhere. He kept building. He kept scaling Paystack across Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, and beyond, connecting more and more of the continent. In 2022, he even bought a football club, Sporting Lagos, chasing another childhood dream he had carried since he was a boy. And in 2026, Paystack moved into full banking, becoming a complete financial powerhouse for the whole continent. He proved something the whole world needed to see, that a kid from Lagos with just a laptop, a best friend, and a stubborn dream could build something so valuable that the biggest giants in Silicon Valley would line up and pay a fortune to own it. Not copy it, not compete with it, own it. So now I have to ask you something. What is your excuse? Shola Akinlade grew up in Lagos with slow internet and almost no resources. He took the safe job path first. He tried to get into a startup school that had never ever accepted an African company. He built a payments company in a country where the whole world said serious tech could not be built. And he built a $200 million company that now moves half of a nation's money and got bought by one of the biggest tech giants on earth. That is true power, not the power to escape your country. The power to stay, to build at home, and to lift your whole community up with you. The trap you are sitting in right now, the slow start, the broken systems around you, the feeling that the big opportunities only happen somewhere else, to some other kind of person. That is a lie. Shola looked at the exact same problems everyone complained about. And instead of complaining, he built the solution. He did it all inside the same 86,400 seconds you and I get every single morning. Same clock, same hours, different choices. Take the pain of the trap and turn the broken thing around you into the business you built. Master the hustle by making something so simple and useful that the world cannot ignore it, and fight for the ultimate flex. Building something so good that giants come knocking on your door. The pen is in your hands, and possibility has no postcode. If this story moved you, smash that subscribe button right now. Hit the bell so you never miss an episode. Share this with someone who thinks big things only happen somewhere else, and drop a comment. Tell me, what broken thing around you are you going to fix? See you in the next account. This has been 86,400 Stories, hosted by Mayo. Every second there is a story.